Hello and welcome back to Deck Pilot. In this episode we have Modgnik's Yellow Gnats as a list I'm going to be taking on the ladder, and this list is pretty difficult to pilot. It's kind of like any Modgnik deck, you know, it doesn't really have an archetype. You have to kind of adapt to your opponent's play. You kind of focus on board control first, but you also need to identify opportunities to play aggressively and try and take a quick win before the Gnat damage is just too much. There's a lot of healing in this deck, so don't worry too much about damage. You have Emperor's Command for healing. You also have Radiance, which you can search out with Iona's Smile. So let's take this list onto the ladder and see how it does. Into our first match here against Jinkimi. And we're playing Modgnats, and some players have expressed concern with this list when it comes to playing against popular decks like Green-Red Crackthorn. Now, this deck is unfavored against Green-Red Crackthorn. I know it's very popular right now, but it is not unwinnable. And I happened to prove that last week in viewer battles against Ranma. I played this deck against Ranma's Green-Red Crackthorn, and I was able to win that match. So it is winnable. It's just very difficult, and you do probably need a little bit of luck, hoping that Crackthorn doesn't come down too early, but I still managed to get a win with it. I was pretty happy with that. So although it can be tough, you know, if you stick at it, you know, you're not going to win all the games, but it is winnable. Like, I feel like any game in Faeria is winnable with the right plays, with the right misplays as well from your opponent. But yeah, don't fret too much. You know, this deck is a lot of fun. And yeah, Crackthorn will be a problem. But if there's too much Crackthorn on the ladder, I wouldn't recommend playing this and wait until you get to a point where there are less. Now, for this matchup, this is probably Modgnat's best matchup. The blue jump lists really struggle when it comes to annoying Gnats because of stuff like this. Now, this is an amazing placement for my Gnat, because now he gets a hit here and then build land there if he wants to collect. But once an Avery comes down, these Gnats get insane value. They can clear Battletoads, and they live to tell the tale because they just respawn. And then you can clear other threats like Triton Warriors with your Soul Drains, stuff like that. So they're very powerful. Look at that, he's just shimmied over to the other side. Man, these Gnats are annoying. And now I force my opponent to create inefficient lands. This is what's so good about the deck, and once these Gnats start to respawn, Celestial Tower also becomes a big part of this list, because you can then push these Gnats to kill stuff like the frogs and other creatures that remain after taking a hit on a Gnat. So we're going to take a draw. Radiance is not a big deal. I feel like we could just clear the board. Go Soul Drain, Emperor's Command. Seems alright to me. And then we'll just move our annoying friend here towards our opponent. And then he maybe can cause some more trouble, especially if we pick up an Avery next turn. Now, if anything big comes down, like a Beirut, or, I don't know, maybe something off a spell will, like a Wavecrafter. We have the Last Nightmare waiting in hand to answer that. Triton Trainer, so still being used by this player. Triton Trainer was absent in the monthly cup, so I'm surprised to see it, if I'm completely honest. Awesome. Iona's Smile, gonna tutor some flyers. More Gnats. Cannot complain. We're actually gonna move this back. Or do we just use the Demon Wing as a blocker? Because we do have 2 Sunsilk Fairies. Yeah, let's do that. So just making so this Triton Trainer can't collect Faeria off this well. Might have to trade off my Demon Wing, but it's a free Faeria trade-off each way. Because I don't consider sacrificing a Gnat a loss in Faeria because it respawns. It's only a loss in life. Might take the preemptive hit on the Gnat, which can be very dangerous, to be honest. Because if that Gnat had respawned here, could have been in a lot of trouble. the soul drain is so good. Okay, so what do we need? I can soul drain this to protect my Fairy. I can also clear one of these with my Fairy and keep something else alive. The Fairy probably has more relevance than the Demon Wing right now because of its mobility, but we can take a draw. That's not a problem. Another Eye and a Smile. Sure, why not? Just thin our deck a little bit more. We'll find Kaleem and another Gnat. So we can get Kaleem down this turn as well. So let's soul drain this guy. Allows us to move aggressively into this position. Let's clear this frog and this frog. We'll move this back into harvesting. Now we'll set up Kaleem. So Ninja Toad is going to be a problem. Now Ninja Toad's a very clean answer to this. Really want to find those Averys. Like, Avery is so important in this matchup. Because these Gnats, as long as the Avery lives, these Gnats become unbearable for a blue player. Takes a draw and just concedes, and there you have it. It's so hard for Blue Jump to stick to the board when it comes to playing against these Gnat decks. And this is going to be one of your best matchups, so if you do see a lot of Blue Jump where you are in ladder, be sure to give this deck a try. The next match is going up against Swap Blues. I haven't played Swap Blues in a while. Swap Blues is a player that I've met many a times while playing Faeria. He is rank 5, so he is climbing this season. And we get the Avery and the Annoying Gnat and the Sunsilk Fairy. I opted to keep the Sunsilk Fairy there because it just acts as an early collector. And we have another blue deck, so hopefully it's Jump. If it's Reaver, Reaver might be a little more difficult. And look at this, double Fairy. If these two guys crack next turn, I'm going to be very happy, that's for sure. I'm going to set up 2 collectors with charge. I'm going to be able to have a lot of influence on the board. Explore into Battletoads. So this could be a problem depending on if they crack or not, and they did crack, so that's good. Still don't have any removal. I can take a draw now, and this is one of the beauties of the deck. Once you set up like this, you can just take draws. Like Soul Drain would be amazing in this situation. I don't really want to lose my Sunsilk Fairy, to be honest. So I'm gonna shimmy this guy here. I'm gonna play the Gnat there. Now let's skip a Faeria for this turn, and let's try and use a Gnat to clear out this frog. Now if the frog is greedy and goes, excuse me, double neutral down, no Avery's gonna be able to punish it. And Triton Warrior, which I can clear with one of these fairies. Very good for me. And I have a Flash Wind. Interesting. Can probably clear the board at this rate. And keep a fairy alive. I can collect from here, build a desert, move across, clear this with the frog. Yeah, so I can do this. Collect, Flash Wind across, clear this frog, move this up to double collection, move across, Avery, make a desert, kill this, Last Nightmare. I like it. So just taking complete board control with that line. I set up a double collector on the left-hand side, which is going to be hard to deal with for Blue Jumper at this point, because there's no lands on the left-hand side for Ninja Toad, for example, to cause problems. And we also have the Annoying Gnat in a perfect position, actually, to be able to contest this beast. Now, I need a Soul Drain or something similar to help me. So So I'm... Ah, it's a shame. I can't hit this. This is very important to clear right now. And yes, I can hit it. So I can go up, back down this way, make sure I collect a Faeria, and clear the Mystic Beast. Also allows me to hang a smile first, so I can start setting up more Gnats for the next turn. Flash Wind across. Let me just do this. And try and set this up to clear this warrior for next turn. And it's not even vulnerable to Ninja Toad anymore, because Ninja Toad doesn't get buffed up to 4 life anymore, which is great, because if a Ninja Toad was to come down, it's going to be a clean trade-off. And I can appreciate that. Oh, no crack there. I'm going to have to go for a draw. Double Avery! Oh my goodness. Okay, things are about to get very, very scary for Swaplow. Because now I just clear his board and I play another Gnat. I have 5/1 Gnats on the board that respawn every time they get cleared. That's insane. This is where the deck gets really fun. And not very fun for my opponent. Taking +1 Faeria, needs to get back into the economy race. Now I'm behind on Faeria, but it doesn't matter because I have Gnats. I'm going to take +1 Faeria as well. Going to clear this frog, take the Soul Drain, and play another Gnat. And now all my Gnats are on the field. They're all 5/1s and they all respawn when they get killed. This is amazing. This is the dream when it comes to annoying Gnats. And there we have it. Another early concede from a blue jump player. Keep in mind that blue jump is considered a tier 1 deck. This deck just has an amazing matchup against it. Our next match is going to be against Arhat. Let's see if Arhat decides to go for blue jump. I'm kind of hoping not. I'm hoping I get to play against Crackfall or something, just to give you an idea of what the matchup is like. But 2 blue jumps in a row is pretty sad for the blue jump players coming against Modgnik. I don't think there's a harder counter than this deck. I mean, maybe Red Control, probably on the same level, but once you get set up like that with all those Gnats and those Averys, it's just impossible for the blue jump player to come back. Oh, it's another blue player. It went for the side of the orb, so this could be Dream Reaver. Now, Dream Reaver is starting to pick up in popularity again. But I feel that Modnats kind of suffers against Dream Reaver. Because once they get a Dream Reaver down, it's very hard to clear unless you have a Nightmare. So if you are in that matchup, you probably want to keep a Nightmare in hand. Or at least try to deal with any potential Dream Reavers. Prophet of Tide. So this could just be blue jump again. Alright, we'll go for Faeria and a Smile. It's going to give us some very good cards, actually. Let's go for Kaleem on the right. So we have Emperor's Command, so there is a way to deal with Prophet of the Tides without using Kaleem. I just need to decide if I want to do that. And that will probably influence where Kaleem goes. I feel Kaleem on the right is still best, because I think it's safe to assume that a creature is going to be played here. You're gonna want to move into double collection with the Prophet. If a creature does get played, I have the potential to move Flash Wind up, use Avery, clear whatever creature's shown up, and then use the Emperor's Command on the Prophet. Might just Frogify. A preemptive Frogify wouldn't be, yeah, it wouldn't be too bad actually. This is not a bad line. for Arhat. It's a little slow, but it gets the job done. Another eye and a smile. Alright, we're going to go for the Fairy first. Oh, I was going to take a draw there, but it actually doesn't matter. I'm going to go to the So we're taking the Mythic Beast spot away from our opponent. We can Flash Wind up to double collect, and then we can take the clear, and I can use the Iona Smile, and then I can set up a Gnat. And that's a little better than using command, I believe, because a command could be handy later on. Especially now, we're going to the 4 lakes for Arhat, and if he was to play, say, a library by here, for example, it'd be very hard for me to get to it. And then I have the Emperor's Command to deal with that library. No, it's just going to be a Triton Warrior. If only this Gnat could collect. If this Gnat could collect, I'd nightmare this. It's not an option. So I can take a draw. Demon Wrangler, very nice. I'm going to move on this spot here. And then sack it with the Wrangler. If these two trade, I'd be very happy. I also have aggro from this Sunsilk Fairy next turn if I want it. But I also have quite a bit of reach, especially if I pick up the Flash Wind. You know, I can maybe challenge the Triton Warrior. If it goes to double collect, I can go across and this way, or I can just move Flash Wind clear. There's a lot of different ways I can deal with this if a Flash Wind is picked up. I'll probably just take the orb damage, to be honest, and force Arhat on the defensive. I'm surprised that blue jump is so popular. I always assume that Crackthorn is going to be kind of tier 1 now since the nerf. Everyone's going to want to play Crackthorn. Very efficient, very good deck for climbing. Blue jump is also a good deck, but after the nerf, I kind of feel like it might have lost popularity. But to be fair, the more blue jump, the merrier. That's the way I see it, especially if you're playing this list. And I have the Nightmare, so if I pick up Flashwind now, I'm in a fantastic position. Absolutely incredible position. No Flashwind, unfortunately, but I can still Nightmare. Now, honestly, I don't mind if my opponent clears this with the warrior, because that means my demon wing gets to double collect next turn. I'll move into double collection at least. We'll take the Nightmare, and we'll take a Gnat. There's no harm in having more Gnats on the board, especially when I have an Avery sitting in hand ready for when these Gnats can actually make some clears. But Arhat's got an interesting choice now, because if this is left uncontested, I can shift onto this land and make an aggressive desert here, which allows any creatures I play that aren't Gnats to collect Faeria before they go in on his orb. And he is going to just take the trade-off here. Maybe a Battletoads here and here. That wouldn't be too bad, out of the range of Gnats. And can clear this Fairy. Now I can kill this with the Emperor's Command and the Avery, which is really good. And I have Celestial Tower. Won't be able to play Celestial Tower this turn. But I want to take the aggressive desert. Actually, do I even need to at this point? I don't know, it doesn't feel like I do. Emperor's Command. Bye-bye. And he's going back to where he was. I'm fine with covering this because I can Celestial Tower next turn. I'm going to sit here. I'm just going to take Faeria. For next turn. Just get some additional Faeria. I'm in a pretty good position right now. Might just be a concede at this point. I mean, what can you do? You're on a 2-turn clock. And there you have it. Another concede. So that is 3-0 versus Blue Jump. Pretty good, right? I'm going to play another one. I don't usually play 4 games, but I kind of feel like we need to find a matchup that isn't Blue Jump. As much as I love all these stars for free, it's not really achieving what I want from this video. So let's do one more, and let's hopefully get a non-Blue Jump player. Okay, we have a completely new opponent. We're not playing a player we've played already, which is great. Which should mean we'll get a non-Blue Jump player. That's what I'm hoping for. But we'll see. We'll keep the Sunsilk. We'll keep the Gnat. I'll just throw the Soul Drain, looking for that Demon Wrangler. Fingers crossed, guys. Come on. No lakes. Double neutral. Okay. Different matchup. I like it. So Rush can be an issue. Especially if you don't find an Avery. And the problem with Avery in a Rush matchup is that they get cleared very easily by monks. This will depend on what type of Rush deck this is. It could be Red Rush, could be Green Rush, could be Yellow Rush. This is where I see a lake now and then my mind explodes. Desert? Mountain. Okay. Red, bad matchup. A Flame Spitter in a Rush deck. What's going on? As you can see, look how good that trade-off was, but it doesn't matter. Not really. Let's move the Gnat here. We will take the draw for the Soul Drain. Didn't find it, but we can smile just to thin the deck, and then we'll sack this. Radiance getting picked up early is pretty good. If my opponent doesn't respect Radiance and puts me too low and I have a good hand side, I can just produce a 10-10 to set up a 2-turn lethal. It's not unwinnable. Just keep that in mind. It is hard. If the cards line up right for the red play, you know, they get the Flame Burst, they get the Ground Shakers, all that sort of stuff very early on. It can be very difficult. But if it doesn't play that way, if it's a bit more even in draws, you can definitely win this matchup. I have won it in the past. I've won against Bloodsingers. I think there's actually there might be even a clip in Deck Doctor. Wow, this is Burn Rush. I don't even know what to say. It's interesting. All right. So we got some way to apply pressure at least. Oh, very nice. Cheeky Gnat's gonna kill my drain. We're still gonna move this Demon Wing into double collection, just force him to use removal on it. Do have a lot of healing, so a lot of sustain. These Emperor's Command do give you that extra burst of healing to keep you in the match and make the Gnat's effect not so painful. Just trade in. Pushing and clearing the Gnat. No surprise there. Oh, an Ogre. Interesting. I have no idea what's going on. I've never seen this list before. But I'm liking it so far. It's very cool. Things are not looking good. I could just be dead to Horsemaster plus something. So let's take a Desert. Ready for Nightmare next turn. Yeah, like Horsemaster Cypher's Wrath would be lethal. Horsemaster Flame Spitter would be lethal. It's actually going to clear a Gnat. Come on, Gnat. Spawn around here. This is where I want you to go. For my Radiance. probably going to have to command as well, unfortunately. Not really what I want to be doing, but not much choice. Good Radiance, I suppose. But then I don't kill this. I'm dead to double Flame Burst. I'm dead to like Flame Burst Ciphers. There's a lot of things that kill me. I'll take a draw, actually. Because I want to fill my hand up a bit for Radiance. I should have drawn first to see if this card would have changed anything. But I didn't really think about Radiance in the long term until the end of that turn. So it's a bit of a bad play for me there. I feel like I have time. Another Ogre. Oh, that's not fun. So again, I can just be dead to Flame Burst at this point. Feel like I take a draw again. Avery's good. It's a shame that Demon Wing isn't here. Demon Wing was here, I'd be in a much better situation. So maybe the heal was incorrect because I can't Radiance now. So this could just come down to him having Flame Burst or not. And there we have it. And there you go. This is a good example of how tough it can be playing against a red player. Double Flame Spitter is on a whole nother level. I don't know if that's anti-Gnat tech. Is Gnats been pretty popular recently? I couldn't tell you. But yeah, those Flame Spitters really slowed me down. I think if they weren't Flame Spitters, they were other creatures, I'm not sure how much better I would have done. If they were, say, Axe Grinders or something like that, I would still have to clear them, because I didn't pick up the Avery till a little later. But there you have it. This is a bad matchup, and we had a few good matchups. But 3-1 overall, and I think that's a good result for a deck like this, which is quite niche, but quite fun. And that's a wrap on this episode of Deck Pilot. Modgnats just taking care of business, taking care of Blue Jump. Don't play Blue Jump against this deck because you will get destroyed, and I think it's evident from those matches I played. So if you do have a lot of Blue Jump on your region of the ladder, this is a great option against it. As you can see, the deck can really struggle. But however, red does take its toll. It's not unwinnable, like I said, you can win those matches, but it's going to be very hard. So thanks for watching, guys. If you do like this video, give it a thumbs up and a subscribe if you haven't already, so you can keep up to date on future videos that are produced on this channel. If you haven't already checked out Faeria's hub, go to faeria.com/the-hub for all the latest articles, decks, and guides. So until next time, guys, take care and have a great day.